Alright, so here's the Rat 1, a very famous budget knife that a lot of people like to talk about. And for some reason, it's a knife that I held off on getting for a while, mainly because I had an SE Cqc, which is still probably my favorite budget knife, and I have a couple others as well. But I didn't really think I needed this one, and I decided to just pick it up because I didn't really have a lot of knives to review. Found one for a good price, and it comes in a lot of color variety, so I guess I'll just talk about that for a second. If you do like variety, this is a knife you're going to like. I don't know if they come in serrated or, half serrated or not, but actually, yeah, I'm pretty sure they do. But either way, there's this model, which I think is, I'm trying to think of it, 3.5 inches? I don't even know. It's a pretty big blade, though. But if you don't like a huge blade, you can get a smaller knife with a 3-inch blade, and it's called the Rat 2. So just something to, be aware of. You can get it in a black coated blade if you like that, which I personally don't. Mainly just because it scratches off so easily and looks like crap after a couple times using it. This is a very polished, like kind of satin looking blade, and it also shows scratches very, clearly, I guess you could say, as opposed to like a stone wash blade or something like that. But, this is only like a $30 knife. I got mine for like $30. You can get them in black. You can get them in like a coyote brown. You can get them in like a desert tan. I think even orange. And I think there's an olive green too, which is more like a forest green. But this is the Knifeworks exclusive gray. I don't know if it's called something else, but it's kind of a grayish color. So, there's a lot of variety, so just pick your favorite color. This one is actually not that much. I mean, it's not any more money. It is a a Knifeworks exclusive, but it's not. They're all going to run about $30. There is a like $50 version that just came out. They probably don't even have any more on the site, but it had carbon fiber and D2 steel. Which I think is a great price. I mean, it was only $52. I thought about getting one, like, as soon as I bought this one, too, they came in stock, and I was like, I should have held off on getting them. But I got this as a beater knife, and I definitely wouldn't have been, beating on the carbon fiber version. I would have tried to keep that one in a little bit better condition. So, I don't mind, and I wasn't going to buy another one. And, yeah, I really like this color. It's kind of a, it's just a grayish color. Just kind of a light gray. I don't know. I think it just looks kind of classy. I had a light gray Delica full flat grind before I sold it, and I liked that look, so I just wanted that again. I just filmed a whole segment of video, and I realized that it wasn't even rolling, so I guess I'll shoot this again. So talking about the design really fast. It is a liner lock. Here's the lockup. Lockup's great. This is a really strong liner lock. Might not look like it, but you can spine whack the crap out of this thing and it's not going to fold. So I would definitely recommend this as a very hard use kind of beater knife, outdoors knife, tactical knife. I think it would fit all of those roles well. EDC knife, sure, if you like a bigger knife, but the Rat 2 would probably be better for that if you're going to really carry it every day. But it's just a little bit too big of a knife and heavy of a knife to carry it around everywhere. I might carry it around my house or, like I said, outside. I actually carry this to work, so I don't know. I guess I've kind of used it for my EDC knife. Every time I go to work, I carry this. I've been doing that lately. Kind of work in a shady neighborhood, so I like to have a knife that I could use for an emergency self-defense task, as well as, do EDC tasks, or, cutting open a bunch of boxes is pretty much all I do. I'm sure there's a bit of some tape marks right there. I might wipe that off in a second. But they did change the logo. I think it used to be kind of like a triangle shape. Now it looks like this. This is made by Ontario, which is the same people that make the Old Hickory butcher knives. It's made of AUS-8 steel, like the SE Cqc. It's very comparable. I haven't really noticed a difference. I mean, supposedly steel varies from factory to factory, but it's pretty much exactly like the SE Cqc steel. The thumb studs are ramped or whatever it's called. They feel very comfortable. This is a very smooth knife. better than you'd expect for something this cheap. And actually, I always heard people talk about the smoothness of it, and I was kind of a little bit disappointed when I got mine out. It was very stiff, and I opened and closed it like for at least 4 days. It must have been like 1,000 times, and it was still kind of stiff. So I loosened the pivot screw and put some Benchmade blue lube on it, and it's like rockets out of the handle now. So, you might have to work with it. I don't know if it would have smoothed out over time. Probably would have, but I just, made that process a lot faster by loosening the pivot. So, I don't know. Maybe they come really fast out of the box for some people. I guess it varies. Like I said, this is a $30 knife, so don't expect, you might be expecting not a lot of quality, but it really is. The fit and finish is great. Like I said, the lockup's great. Blade centering's perfect. It's smooth now, so the blade steel's not bad either. I guess we could talk about the ergonomics and everything. Get on this side of the camera. I usually hold my knives with my left hand, but I deploy them with my right. Yeah, I'm weird, but the knife feels great in hand. It's kind of like a paramilitary 2 blade shape. I mean, a handle shape. I really like knives that are shaped like that. It feels great in my hand, though. Really feels like secure, especially with that choil right here. Or not choil, but I don't know. Would you even call that a choil? Probably not. Little finger groove thing right here for you to kind of choke up on if you wanted to. Talking about this area right here. But it's not like a Spyderco, so I wouldn't do too hard of task with it, because you could easily slip forward. But you can't do that. And like I said, there's this little area back here, so to where it feels really locked into your hand. Got a pretty thick blade stock. Compare it to a Benchmade 940, because I got it right here with me. That's about what it looks like. I don't know if that's focusing or not. It's kind of a glare on my screen, but you can probably see it. There it is next to a paramilitary 2. So, actually it's a little bit thinner than I thought it was. But still, I'd say it would be a pretty good hard to use knife. Outdoors knife, if you need to do any wood carving or anything like that. I mean, I think batoning is retarded if you're going to do that with a knife. But, if you really needed to do that with a folding knife, I'd probably get a cold steel with a triad lock. But other than that, open frame construction, so easy to clean out. It doesn't have nested liners, which I don't really mind, because I kind of like the look of the liners when they're exposed. And the jimping's kind of sharp. It just feels a little uncomfortable how this, the shape kind of looks a little weird, how it just stops right here and then goes up. The pocket clip is 4-way repositionable, so you can put it on, any position you like, left or right hand, tip up or tip down. I actually got it on tip up right now. There's a lanyard hole back here if you care about that. I just did my Benchmade 940 review, and I realized that I didn't talk about that, but this doesn't have a lanyard hole. So I don't really care about that. But if you're someone who likes putting a lanyard on your knife, the 940 doesn't have one, but this one does, so you don't have to worry about that. It's not going to be as big as the lanyard hole on the paramilitary 2, which is huge. But, I'm sure it'll do just fine. Pocket clip's already starting to show some wear, which I've been using this one a lot, actually. I started using this knife a lot more than I used my knives when I first get them. Usually when I first get them, I don't know, I don't really have an opportunity to use them as much, but I've been just taking this one to work and just beating on it, and it's held up nicely. This is a beater knife, that's what I would say it is. Also a tactical knife. If you're into folding tactical knives, then yeah, I'd say this definitely would fit the bill. Don't think I talked about the handle material. It is nylon, or like a I guess like an FRN type material. It's plastic. And I was looking at it and I was like, well, it looks kind of like G10. I'm guessing it'll feel a bit like G10. It kind of feels like a very, very fine G10, like the Kershaw Chill. That's not a Kershaw Chill. Here it is. It's kind of like that. This one's a little bit grippier though. The knife's grippier when you're kind of like running your hand across it like this, as opposed to like this. It's really smooth like this. So it's smoother than I thought it would be, honestly. But because of the handle shape, you know, with that deep groove right here, I mean, your hand feels locked on. So I think if you were using this for like a tactical knife or just in the woods or something, you're not going to lose your grip on it. Plus that jimping's very sharp. Kind of uncomfortable, like I said. And it feels good in reverse grip too. So this is a very big knife, probably the biggest knife I own at the moment, folding knife wise. So do some size comparisons real fast. We'll put that in the center. Here it is next to a Benchmade 940. No, that's not a very good. Let's put it next to some other budget knives. Here's an SE Zancudo. That's a lot bigger than the Zancudo. Here it is next to a Kershaw Chill. These are all going to run you about $30, give or take. I mean, the prices kind of change. So, you know, sometimes they're like 25, sometimes they're like 35. But either way, these are all going to be in the $30 mark. Here's a Kershaw Emerson Cqc 5K, I think that's the name of it. Yeah. And I guess we could just put it next to a Paramilitary 2. A lot of people own that knife. So there's kind of a shot of the knife. As you can see, it is huge. A lot of blade length. You know, it is a full flat grind, so it's going to be great for slicing. Might even be good for food prep because of that really long full flat ground blade. It's going to slice nicely. So yeah, overall though, you know, I have been using it, like I said, at work, and it does have a huge belly on it, and I don't really like a huge belly on knives. I don't think it's really neat. A lot of people talk about it. Sometimes it's actually harder to get the point into like a smaller place, like on a box, because you have to pretty much like, you know, pretty much stab straight down, as opposed to like a Wharncliffe or maybe even a Hawk build where you can just kind of hook it in and pull. So I think it'd be really cool if for some reason they made like a Wharncliffe version of this, like a Wharncliffe Rat 2 would be like my perfect work knife. Or maybe even just this one, because it does have that large size. Kind of got some. Is that tape or is that scratches? It's probably just tape, glue. But either way, yeah, it does have a huge belly on it, so it will be good for like maybe like cutting meat and stuff like that. But I don't really like a huge belly on knives for random just EDC tasks like opening boxes and stuff like that. I'd prefer more of a kind of a Spyderco does that blade shape well, more like a Spyderco Delica's blade shape, or this isn't too bad. But overall, I mean, yeah, the blade shape is useful for certain tasks and not that useful for others. And actually, real fast, forgot to do a sharpness test. Probably just edit this into the middle of the video. But here it is. It's very sharp. It's very easy to sharpen too. I mean, AUS 8 steel, that's the good thing about it, is for beginners, if you don't really know how to sharpen, you know, you can get it like razor sharp just because of how easy it is to sharpen, especially on the Spyderco Sharp Maker. Whoops. Yeah, very easy to touch up too. But I use this one a lot of work, like I said, so I always just run it on a fine stone every day after I get home, and it's not a problem. Very easy to maintain, very easy to sharpen, but it doesn't hold its edge that long. I do have to sharpen it every day. Every day that I use it a lot, at least. Sometimes I don't carry it every day. Alright, here's a quick spine whack test with the Rat 1. I think it should do fine. Yeah. Yeah. So for any, anytime you might accidentally hit the spine, it'll do fine. So yeah, the liner is really strong. A lot of people would say a liner lock isn't that strong, but this one is proof that it is. Sometimes they're not done as well. Like some of the Kershaws I've had, the spine has slipped off, but usually they're only on like that far anyway, and this one's like more like dead center. So I don't understand why some people would want an early lockup, because that just makes it easier for the knife to close. I mean, unless that's what you want, I don't know. I don't understand that. But liner is strong. Is my camera even focused? I hope it was. Alright, and here's a quick stab test. Biting deep into the wood. This is a softer steel, but I don't think it's going to bend because it is a pretty thick blade. Yep, still seems fine. So nice and sharp. So the knife does penetrate very well, bit all the way into this. And it is very easy to deploy, like I said, with my left hand. I can even close it too. It's a little bit hard because this is designed for a right-handed person, the liner lock, but you can do it. Also, it is made in Taiwan, but the quality is there. I mean, it is a very high-quality knife. So overall, I think this would be a great folding tactical knife, food prep knife, hard use, just beater knife, or an outdoor knife, but not so perfect for EDC tasks. But I'm glad I got it. I'm definitely not going to sell it. But if you were just wanting like a budget EDC knife, I still think the SE Zenkudo fits the bill more. So this is my favorite budget EDC knife, though there are some others if you like Kershaw. So that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it. Alright, here's a spine whack test with the Osborne 940. So yeah, that access lock is very strong. Oops, kind of lost my grip on it. It's easier to deploy, to close the knife with my right hand, because I can hold onto the pocket clip. I guess I can't switch that, but it's just one thing to notice. Here is a quick stab test too. Though I wouldn't really call this a tactical knife. Alright, as you can see, the tip hasn't chipped or anything. Still in good condition. Alright, here's a stab test with the Benchmade 940. Wouldn't call this a tactical knife, like I said, but let's just see how well it does. So that reverse Tonto blade shape does penetrate very nicely.